Welcome to Kruk and Kuip. They might be giants. As tonight we will be talking about the strikeout in baseball, and also what is going on down, who is trending up and who is trending down on the farm. Let's start with what is going on in Sacramento, Richmond, Augusta, and San Jose. Who is trending up and who is trending down? Right now, trending up is got to be Kelby Tomlinson, who I think should have gotten the call up today to fill in for Jarrett Parker, but Stephen Okert got the call up too, and I think Okert should have been on the opening day roster to begin with. He was since they need another lefty in the bullpen besides Ty Block. That will probably put some of the workload off of Ty Block. And I think Kelby, I think righty's going to need to be sent down after this Kansas City series, but I think Kelby, he could learn to adjust the play out in left field. Or you could always put Eduardo Nunez in the outfield, but I think Kelby Tomlinson's look like he's ready for another call-up. Christian Arroyo has been playing out of his mind in TripleA. He's going to be up with the Giants more sooner than later at this point. I really think they need to start getting him some hits in AAA. They need to start getting him to play more of the hot corner. That way he can be ready to take over third base, maybe just move Eduardo Nunez to the outfield. But I think Christian Arroyo's bat has to come in at some point in the season. Yohan Gregorio's had a good week. His ERA is 1.74. He could bump up in the depth chart with Ty Beatty having a bad week this week. Slade Heathcott is good this week. Chris Shaw is hitting 382. He could be up. One thing that's blocking him from going up to AAA is a guy named Ryder Jones, who's they got Ryan Howard in single A hitting well. Jonah Arenado is going 263 right now. I want to see a little bit more out of him. Daniel Carbonell's at 296 right now. But I think Carbonell's starting to turn more into a bust. Another one who's trending up has been Kyle Crick. I think he got his first save. So maybe if he can get his stuff together, we could see maybe Kyle Crick maybe be a closer in the AAA system. One trending down is Drew Stubbs and Ty Beatty. Seems like Drew Stubbs may not be ready for them to return to the majors. Carlos Moncrief, another one, maybe get a look later on in the season. Thus far, I like what I see out of Kyle Crick. He's really turning it around this year. Maybe he's got the stuff to be a closer. Who knows? Chris Shaw doing well. Yeah, it's still early in the season, so you never know. We'll see if Ty B can rebound from it. He was trending down this week. He's hit his first speed bump in AAA. And it's not easy to pitch because the PCL is hitter friendly. And then this week, the Sacramento River Cats play this week. Sacramento River Cats have games against the Salt Lake. They play at home return home to Raleigh Field to play the Salt Lake Buzz and the Las Vegas 51s. And they will be home for the starting April 18th until April 25th, with no breaks in between. But the one thing now let's get on to the spotlight of today's show, and that today is the increasing rate of strikeouts in Major League Baseball. Hitters are getting struck out at a higher rate than ever before. And it's mainly because more teams are scouting for flamethrowers and pitchers that can hit their location and stuff. You see that normally you can see a pitcher like Aroldis Chapman reach 100 miles per hour on the radar gun, which a hitter cannot hit. Or they have the off speed to fool a hitter with a curve that can sink, or a sink that's and also the other changes, like you see a lot more pitchers having Tommy John surgery, and they usually can throw fast better after a Tommy John. And then the other thing is you might see a pitcher's shelf life longer now because of the pitch count. The old days, you never saw a pitch count, so you might see a pitcher go 125 to 100 pitches, 150 pitches maybe in some games. Whereas a pitcher nowadays could get 100 pitches or whatever, with the new pitch counts and stuff, which keeps a pitcher's arm a little more fresh. But one thing Rob Manfred wants to do to maybe combat that is to shrink the strike zone, which could be good, which could be bad. But 20 years ago, you never saw a lot of pitchers hit 100 miles per hour on the gun and have the control to do it, whereas you have it now. You maybe see more pitcher like of Greg Maddux, who didn't have the best fastball, but who knew how to locate his pitches. And also, it's just maybe more, you see more free swingers than you used to. Giants used to have a pitcher a few years ago who was probably one of my favorites, and always going to be a fan favorite. He never struck out, but he was good at the atom ball. His name was Kirk Reeder. And he never had the greatest fastball or whatever, but he knew how to locate his pitches and get hitters out. And you don't see the contact pitcher anymore because you see a lot more of the flamethrowers, especially in the Giants system. You see a lot more flamethrowers than you ever have. You got Josh Osich down there who's got the high heat. Problem is he can't control like he can. And you got Hunter Strickland who's got a high heat, and now he's developing his curveball and a splitter. And I think he could have one of his best years the way he's pitching this year. And now you got Stephen O'Kurt, another flamethrower. He's going to probably be a lefty specialist. You see a lot of these guys the Giants have signed and stuff. They can reach 95 to 100 on the gun easily. And that's what you want maybe out of a bullpen pitcher, is pitchers who can locate pitches, have the velocity to strike out batters. And unfortunately, the other downside is why hitters are striking out more. Look at Brandon Belt, look at Brandon Crawford. They're just free swingers. You just maybe have hitting coaches who don't teach plate discipline. Whereas a hitter like Joe Panic knows how to stand in the strike zone and watch the pitch. We'll see how it changes as the strike zone begins to shrink in the coming years. But I don't think the flamethrower is going to go away, especially with a lot of these pitching recruits coming from the Dominican Republic and Cuba and Puerto Rico, where they are hitting more of these high heat pitchers, or especially now also you got the Tommy Johns. And Tommy John saved a lot of pitchers from a declining velocity for a few more years. But the downside is the flamethrower is the shelf life's not going to be as long as, say, somebody who's a contact pitcher. So there'll come a point where hitters adjust and the rules will change to benefit the hitter. But hitters have also pitchers have adjusted to the days of the steroid ages of Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. And they learned how to locate pitches where they could fool the hitter easier. So I really don't see the strikeout rate declining. But you have some of the best pitchers you've seen since the days of Sandy Koufax, Roberto Juan Marichal, and all these other new pitchers. That you got Noah Syndergaard, who's a flamethrower in New York. You got Matt Harvey's a good pitcher. Jacob deGrom. You got Madison Bumgarner with the Giants. You got Clayton Kershaw, who all can throw a decent fastball or who can strike out batters. And a lot of these strikeout pitchers have successfully made their way up to the majors, and now it's going to take a matter of time for hitters to adjust to the current crop of pitching. And it's especially in the National League, where pitching is really become if you want to win in the NL, you have to have good pitching. And you got to have pitching that can strike out maybe 5 to 10 batters a game. But we'll see how Manfred adjusts the strike zone in the coming years to try to benefit the hitter more. Only downside is you might see a lot more pitchers throw country heart ball and try to get the home run rate to go up by that. Well, thanks for tuning in for this Sunday Spotlight. Next Sunday, we will be talking about concussions and what maybe Major League Baseball needs to make changes to the concussion protocol and stuff after what happened to Buster Posey. This is something I really want to maybe discuss. Thanks, and have a good night.